Okay, for our corrections, starting with Sujin, you said for 28 years I gotta sleep. I think you meant for 20 hours, right? Whenever you're trying to say a number, but you don't want to, like, you don't know how much accurately, sometimes we say like for 20 something years, like that. So years, hours. So you could say I slept for like 20 something hours. You know, I spent 20 something dollars on this, or you know, I have a new coworker. She's 20 something years old. So you can, if you don't know how many hours it is accurately, you can just say like 20 something, right? Next, you said I just woke up for a hungry. I woke up when I was hungry.
Yeah.
I only woke up when I was hungry. And then you said, in this season, hot summer season, I like to drink some beer. I guess you can just shorten it. So in the hot summer season, I like to drink some beer. I prefer to have some cold beer. Next, Annie, you said I'm not that caffeinated person. I don't like to be caffeinated, or I don't like to be too caffeinated or over caffeinated. I don't think it's wasting time because we can hang out with coworkers. I don't think it's a waste of time because we can hang out with coworkers. Nowadays, companies give some extra money for some cultural time. Nowadays, companies give some spending money for leisure activities. Misan, you said I can stay alone and think nothing, do nothing. We have a word for that, or an expression for that, zone out. Zone out. ZONEOUT. I'm just going to zone out. Like, I'm just going to have a beer and sit here and do nothing. I'm going to zone out. I'm not going to think. I'm not going to do anything. I'm not going to look at my phone. I'm just going to zone out. Sometimes you might see somebody that got some shocking news, and then you might say, hey, he looks kind of zoned out. What do you think happened? You know, so somebody that's just like, they're just kind of staring off into space and not saying and doing anything, just zone out. Great feeling when you had a really tough week, you worked a lot, you just want to zone out when you get home, right? Then you said, I like blood on television or movie. I pre-like that. We call that blood and gore, or gory. Yeah, gory. I like gory movies. Then you said, I pre-like that. I've always liked that. Yeah. You can't really say I pre-like, to be honest. It doesn't really go together, so I've always liked that. Yeah. Then you said, danger is human beings. People are dangerous. Humans are dangerous. If you drink the small cup, if you have a small serving. Yeon, I was been this church like 7 years. I've been attending this church for 7 years, for about 7 years. I have a high body temp in my body. My body temperature is usually quite high. I have some, I'm sorry. You said I have same opinion with other people. I agree with everybody else. Sue, I usually occupied by my baby. Usually my baby occupies my time, or all of my time. This is a very common thing that a lot of parents say. Usually my baby occupies all of my time, or most of my time. Yeah, usually my baby occupies most of my time or all of my time. Like almost every parent will say this. It's such a common thing. My husband, care of my baby. My husband was taking care of the baby, or our baby, or my baby. Then you said, I make a latte in myself. I think you meant to say I make a latte by myself, or I make my own latte. I'm not really good for drink. When you were talking about alcohol, I don't have a high tolerance for drinking. Yeah, a high tolerance. Tolerance is how much you can drink. and then you're just, too drunk or something. So I don't have a high tolerance. Sometimes people will ask you, before you go drinking with people, like coworkers or friends, they might ask you, what's your tolerance? Meaning, like, how many drinks can you have?
How do you spell tolerance?
Tolerance. So if somebody says, oh, I have a high tolerance, then they could probably drink like 5 bottles of soju. But if somebody says, oh, I have a low tolerance, maybe they can't drink any soju at all. They can just have like maybe, one beer. Yeah, right, yeah. So tolerance is just a way to say how much alcohol you can drink. High tolerance, I can drink a lot. Low tolerance, I can only drink a little. Yeah, low tolerance.
Is there any little tolerance?
Kind of.
You can say
You can say, like, usually people will say, I can't.
common tolerance.
Common tolerance. Some people might say I don't have a high tolerance, but I can drink a little, and I have an average tolerance. Yeah. And then last Jihei, you said nowadays I have several ways to release my stress. Nowadays, you can take out some. I have several ways to release my stress. Also, as a suggestion, because nowadays gets used a lot. Kind of overused in a way. I would also recommend saying lately, currently, these days. Next, I couldn't expect that it could be that much big. This also happens a lot too here, and I'm not sure why, but a lot of people will say I couldn't expect when couldn't doesn't fit actually. So I never expected that it would be that big. I never expected for it to be that big. And then last, there's a person who and is really fan of soda or milk. There are some people, you were talking about in general, there are some people who love soda or milk. It's hard to be a fan of soda or milk. I mean, then you have to like hold up a sign and be like, I love Coca-Cola. Yeah, cider. And that's our corrections for today.